Imagine you're walking to the local store. It's a quiet autumn evening, the kind of peaceful night that makes you feel safe in your own neighborhood. You have no idea that just a few streets over, lurking in a house you might pass every day, is someone wanted for the sexual battery of a child. Or that in another part of your city, an individual charged with the rape of children is sitting in a car, completely free, believing they have evaded the system. These aren't scenes from a dramatic television show. This was the chilling reality in Western Pennsylvania until very recently, a hidden network of violence operating in the shadows of our everyday lives. The facade of that normalcy was shattered in a massive, coordinated strike by the FBI and its partners, an operation they called Summer Heat, and what unfolded over 5 days in early October was one of the most significant fugitive dragnets in the region's recent history. A stark reminder that the most dangerous threats are often the ones we never see. For the families of victims, for the communities terrorized by these individuals, the fear was a constant, gnawing presence, a shadow over their lives, and the question was always there, hanging in the air: when will justice come? The answer began to take shape on October 6th, not with a single siren, but with a silent, deliberate mobilization of forces. The FBI Pittsburgh field office became the nerve center, a hive of intense activity where special agents and task force officers linked up with the absolute best from the United States Marshals Service, the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, and the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police's Fugitive Apprehension Unit. This wasn't a random gathering. This was the formation of a precision instrument, multi-jurisdictional spear aimed directly at the heart of violent crime in the community. The goal was singular and brutal in its clarity: find, locate, and apprehend 19 of the most dangerous wanted fugitives in the area, individuals whose alleged crimes read like a catalog of societal nightmares. The planning was meticulous, the intelligence gathering relentless. They pored over case files, tracked digital footprints, conducted surveillance, and connected dots that the average person would never see, building a comprehensive picture of where these fugitives were hiding, who they were associating with, and how they moved. This was the critical, unseen work that happens long before the tactical gear is done and the vehicles roll out, the cerebral foundation upon which the entire physical operation would be built. And then the green light. For 5 straight days, from October 6th to the 10th, this specially formed task force moved as one, a seamless entity despite the different badges and patches they wore. FBI agents embedded directly with deputy sheriffs and police detectives, breaking down the final barriers of bureaucracy that sometimes hamper law enforcement. Information was shared in real time, movements were coordinated with split-second timing, and the net began to close. The first arrests were made locally, fugitives roused from sleep or pulled over in their cars, their expressions a mixture of shock and resignation as they were confronted by a unified wall of law enforcement that represented a system they thought they could outrun. But the operation's reach was far greater than anyone could have anticipated, demonstrating the terrifying mobility of modern crime and the equally formidable long arm of federal law enforcement. The tendrils of this investigation stretched far beyond the state lines of Pennsylvania, reaching across the country to silence the threats that had fled, proving that there is no safe haven. In Kansas City, Kansas, United States Marshals closed in on a fugitive who wasn't just wanted for a simple parole violation. He was the subject of an outstanding federal arrest warrant for allegedly sexually assaulting 2 minor females who had been in his care, a man who thought putting hundreds of miles between himself and his crimes would be enough to grant him freedom. It was not. Simultaneously, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, FBI agents from the Charlotte field office, acting on intelligence pipeline directly from the Pittsburgh command, located and arrested another target. A man wanted in Allegheny County for a campaign of terror against his ex-girlfriend that included stalking, harassment, and physical violence in its full, devastating effect. An operation that proved justice is not constrained by zip codes or state borders, that the collective will of dedicated officers, when unified under a single powerful purpose, can reach out and touch the guilty no matter where they try to hide. As the operation progressed, the true scale and gravity of what was being accomplished began to come into sharp, horrifying focus. This was not merely about arresting 19 people. It was about systematically dismantling 19 individual epicenters of violence, trauma, and fear that had been actively poisoning communities. Each name crossed off the list represented a tangible victory for public safety, direct intervention into a story of victimization that was now being rewritten with an ending that favored justice over suffering. Let's be very clear about who these individuals were and what they are accused of, because understanding the nature of these threats is crucial to appreciating the operation's profound impact. We are talking about individuals charged with drug trafficking, the very same people who pump poison into our streets, fueling addiction and the cycle of violence that inevitably follows in its wake. We are talking about those in illegal possession of firearms, armed and dangerous individuals who pose an immediate and lethal threat to anyone who crosses their path, be it a rival, an innocent bystander, or a law enforcement officer. But the list descends into even darker, more disturbing territory, which includes allegations of human trafficking, a modern form of slavery that preys on the most vulnerable among us, reducing human beings to commodities for exploitation and profit. And perhaps most chilling of all are the charges related to the sexual battery of a child and the rape of children, crimes so heinous they strike at the very foundation of our society's trust and the sanctity of childhood itself. These are not petty criminals. These are the predators that parents have nightmares about, the individuals who shatter lives without a second thought. And for 5 days in October, they became the exclusive targets of a relentless and coordinated hunt. The operational outcomes, as dry as that term may sound, tell a story of a community being actively cleansed of a pervasive sickness. Every time a team of officers closed in on a location, there was a palpable tension, a moment where years of training and instinct took over, where the potential for violence was always present, but was mitigated by sheer professionalism and a meticulously executed plan. The success of this operation, as emphasized by every single leader from the FBI Special Agent in Charge Kevin Rojek to the Allegheny County Sheriff Kevin Krause, was not born from any one agency acting alone. This was a symphony of collaboration, powerful demonstration of what happens when the silos of law enforcement are broken down and resources are pooled under a common, urgent goal. The United States Marshals Service brought their legendary fugitive tracking expertise, a nationwide network, and a relentless persistence that has made them one of the most formidable law enforcement entities in the world. The Allegheny County Sheriff's Office provided deep, granular knowledge of the local terrain, the players, and the community dynamics that can never be fully captured in a database. The Pittsburgh Bureau of Police's Fugitive Apprehension Unit contributed their street-level intelligence and tactical prowess, knowing the alleyways and the habits of the city's criminal element like the back of their hand. And the FBI provided the overarching coordination, the federal legal authority, the advanced analytical capabilities, and the seamless communication platform that allowed all these forces to operate as a single unified fist. This was the embodiment of acting Pittsburgh Police Chief Martin Devine's words about being always at the ready to drive criminals out of neighborhoods, promise made real through concrete action. The image of these diverse units working side by side, sharing vehicles, intelligence, and even the risks, sends an unmistakable message to the criminal underworld: there is no divide for you to exploit, no gap in the armor for you to slip through. The wall between you and justice is now a solid, impenetrable barrier made up of every law enforcement agency in the region, and they are all talking to each other. This collaborative model, perfected during summer heat, is a blueprint for the future of crime fighting, proving that the whole is infinitely greater than the sum of its parts. It is a strategy that doesn't just react to crime, but proactively hunts it down, dismantling its networks and removing its most dangerous actors from the board before they can inflict further harm on the innocent. This operation was a masterclass in modern, intelligence-driven policing, and its success offers a template that could and should be replicated across the country to make every community safer, to ensure that no one, no matter how powerful or well connected they believe themselves to be, can operate above the law or beyond its reach. So what happens after the handcuffs are clicked shut, the doors of the patrol cars are slammed, and the 19 faces of this particular wave of fugitives are processed into the justice system? Does the story simply end there? Press release in a fleeting sense of victory before the world moves on to the next headline. The truth is, the conclusion of summer heat is not an ending, but a critical new beginning. And its true legacy is being written right now in the courtrooms, in the neighborhoods, and most importantly, in the minds of every single citizen who hears this story. For the victims of these horrific crimes, the arrests represent the first monumental step on the long and arduous road toward healing and closure. It is the moment the constant, gut-wrenching fear that their tormentor was just around the corner can finally begin to subside, replaced by the fragile but growing hope that the system did not forget them, that their pain was seen, heard, and acted upon with immense force and determination. This is the human element that transcends all the statistics and official statements. It is the restoration of a fundamental sense of safety and the affirmation that they matter. But the impact of such a sweeping operation ripples out far beyond the direct victims, sending a seismic shockwave through the entire criminal ecosystem of the region. It serves as a powerful, undeniable deterrent to every other individual currently engaged in or contemplating a life of violent crime. The message is clear and it is brutal. Your network is not secure. Your hiding places are not secret. And the combined might of local, state, and federal law enforcement is not just a theoretical concept. It is a living, breathing, and highly efficient machine that will dedicate every resource at its disposal to find you, to stop you, and to ensure you face the full consequences of your actions. There is no honor among thieves when the entire structure is being dismantled from the top down. This operation, while a resounding success, also serves as a stark public reminder of a reality we often prefer to ignore, that these dark, dangerous underworlds exist parallel to our own, often intersecting in ways we never see until it is too late. It challenges us to be more aware, more vigilant, and more engaged in our own communities. The intelligence that often fuels these massive takedowns doesn't just materialize in a vacuum. It is frequently pieced together from tips provided by ordinary people who saw something and, crucially, said something. You are the eyes and ears of your neighborhood, and your willingness to report suspicious activity, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, can be the one missing piece of the puzzle that law enforcement needs to prevent a tragedy or apprehend a predator. This is where the story loops back to you, the viewer, and this is where your power and responsibility begin. What you have just learned about summer heat is more than just a news story. It is a case study in modern justice and community resilience. Conversation cannot end when this video does. I want you to truly internalize this information, to understand that your safety is a shared responsibility between you and the brave men and women who wear the badge. So, here is your call to action, your direct line to making a difference. If this story resonated with you, if it made you feel safer or more informed, then you have a duty to share that knowledge. Share this video with everyone you know, on your social media feeds, in your family group chats with your friends and coworkers. Spread the word about the success of operations like this one, because public awareness is a powerful tool that fosters greater trust in law enforcement and strengthens the very fabric of our society. Furthermore, I urge you to proactively familiarize yourself with the resources available in your own community. Look up the non-emergency number for your local police department and save it in your phone. Find out if your neighborhood has a community watch program and consider joining it. And most critically, if you ever have any information about a fugitive or ongoing criminal activity, do not hesitate. You can remain anonymous. You can contact your local FBI field office or submit a tip online through their official website. You can call the United States Marshals Service tip line. Your one phone call could be the key that unlocks the next major investigation, that takes the next dangerous individual off the streets, that prevents the next family from becoming victims. The work of summer heat is over, but the mission of protecting our communities is eternal, and it requires all of us to play our part. Be the voice that speaks up. Be the citizen that makes a difference. Let's continue this fight together.